It's the Go Gopher Podcast with Mike Grimm, episode number 164. I am Mike Grimm, voice of the Golden Gophers, and welcome back to the podcast. This week, we're looking ahead to Thursday's opening round of the NCAA Men's Hockey Tournament game in Fargo between the Golden Gophers of Minnesota and the Minutemen of UMass. It's our pleasure to welcome back to our podcast a semi-regular in junior forward Connor Kurth. Connor's been an outstanding player this season. He'll preview the Gopher tourney chances, what the team has been doing during an extended period of time off, and much more. You're going to enjoy, as always, Connor Kurth on the Go Gopher Podcast. Our Go Gopher Podcast is presented by alumni-owned Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're a business founder planning to exit your business, start by contacting Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. Sunbelt serves more businesses up to $5 million in revenue than anyone, and True North M&A serves companies with revenues up to $150 million. Get a confidential, no-cost, no-obligation business valuation started today. Hey, make the most of your life's work. Visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com today. Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union's also a big sponsor of the Go Gopher Podcast. Life math is complicated, and Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union makes it easier with local financial experts available to help in person or virtually. You can go to affinityplus.org/Go Gophers for more info. That's affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. Affinity Plus supports Gophers student athletes, including Connor Kurth, who's a brand ambassador for Affinity Plus. In addition, Affinity Plus will give Connor a gift card for his appearance this week to showcase their support. Thanks again to the great folks at Affinity Plus, banking for Minnesotans from Pee-wees to the pros. The Go Gopher Podcast is also presented by OnX Maps. Find out how to download the OnX Hunt app for free by listening to the Go Gopher Podcast. We're podcasting episode 164 from the Aquarius Home Services studio. We invite you to subscribe to the Go Gopher Podcast. It's free to do so. You can also go back and listen to previous Go Gopher Podcast. Last week, for example, we had a fun time for sure. We talked Gopher football with two of our favorites, former punter Mark Crawford and former kicker Dragan Kesic. They were coming off of their pro days last week. They were amazing, and you should absolutely go back and listen to that one if you have not already. This week, it's all about NCAA tournament hockey with Golden Gopher forward Connor Kurth. He'll join me next.
I'm Clay Geary, walk-on turned scholarship wide receiver for Gopher football.
And I'm Ben Utek, U of M alumni, Super Bowl champion, and Tony Dungy Uncommon Award winner.
We understand championship culture, which is why we're part of the True North family of companies.
True North invests in only elite teams, like the champion team at Sunbelt Business Advisors, Minnesota's largest seller of companies. To learn more about True North and our diverse family of independently owned companies, visit TrueNorthEquityPartners.com.
Keep the good times rolling without the regrets. Giggly THC beverages are your go-to for bold flavor and smooth vibes. Zero alcohol, no bad decisions. Just THC-infused cocktails, seltzers, and teas packed with natural ingredients and performance-boosting superfoods like ashwagandha and ginseng. Find Giggly at over 500 locations like Total Wine, MGM, and Cub Foods, or shop online at giggly.com. That's GIGLI.com. Ready to upgrade your drink game? Use the code Giggly North, as in Giggly Talk North. Giggly North, GIGLI North, for 50% off your first order. Giggly, sip smarter, feel better.
It's episode 164. We're talking hockey this week. It is that time of year, and it is always fun to have Connor Kurth on the podcast. He is back with us, and good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, good to see you as well. Thanks for having me.
I think this is your third or fourth visit with us here on the Go Gopher Podcast, and we always ask you back because you're so good. And, man, this has been an interesting time for you guys. Obviously, you didn't have the luck and the success you were hoping for in that Notre Dame series. So the pairings, as we record this is a late morning on Monday, heading into a Thursday night first-round game against UMass, which we'll get into. But it seems like it's been a year ago. It's like a whole new season. This is like 20-some days now that you guys haven't been on the ice for a game. So how do you think you guys will handle that?
Yeah, obviously not playing in a while is tough, but we've been getting after it since we were out in practice. We went down to Rochester and scrimmaged against each other, and then we did another scrimmage on Friday here. So we've been getting after it in practice and working really hard and just kind of staying fit. I mean, obviously there's nothing like game shape, but just doing little things like that and also I think it can definitely be beneficial not having those games, and like you're putting so much stress on, you know, the semifinals and then, you know, the finals, and however that goes, you know, that can affect you either which way. But we've just been dialed in on our first game, and we've had a lot of time to think about it. So I think we're going to be coming out flying and ready to go.
Yeah, skating like crazy on Thursday night for sure. And like you said, there could be some benefit in not just rest, but, you know, North Dakota made a coaching change this week. Mm-hmm. I was reading an article. I don't follow the Fighting Hawks that closely, but I did read in there that part of their issue in the postseason is like 2 of the last 3 years they had one of their top defensemen injured in the NCAA playoffs. So part of it also is you guys didn't have to put anybody at risk. You knew you were in. I mean, You'd love to win the Big Ten and all that stuff, but by the same token, you didn't have to go out, like you say, take a toll on the body. Even if people don't get hurt, which, you know, North Dakota had that issue apparently in reading that article, but you also didn't put anybody at risk. You're I mean, at practice you did, but you're mostly safe and sound.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, I feel like those those are huge weekends, you know, and you put so much focus on them, and then, you know, it's just over, and then you're right in the tournament once that championship's over. So, you know, we're fortunate enough to just really be focusing in on what this task at hand and what's really important now.
We probably can look at it two ways as well. Like you would come off, let's say, a highly emotional championship game. That can be a drain on your mind, but it also could give you a bunch of momentum going into the tournament. We don't know what the answer would be. Right. We do know that you didn't play in that, so you've got a fresh mind and fresh body, fresh legs as a team.
100%.
All right, so take us through you mentioned Rochester. I think you guys have done this in the past too, right? You've gone to different areas. You've gone to Marshall maybe one year. I forget where it was.
Last year we went to, we stayed at Cragen's up in Brainerd.
That's what it was. Okay.
And then my freshman year we actually went to Rochester.
Mm-hmm. So, and then I saw some tweets that it was Brody Lamb's mom, a teacher. You guys went and visited her class.
Tell me about that. I'd love to tell you about that.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, she works at a local school in Rochester, and we went and we showed up at like, I think it was like 11. And all the kids, and I think at the whole school, were outside, and it was a beautiful day, and all the teachers were outside, and the kids were so fired up, and we were just we were out there for probably an hour, I think, and we were playing games with them and just hanging out, signing stuff. But I know for me, and I know a lot of the other guys loved it. It kind of felt like we were back in elementary school and just having fun.
Playing at recess.
It was honestly so much fun. Like, I think we got more out of it than the kids did. Then when we were leaving, I asked Lammer's mom if I could stay with the third grade class, and she said yeah. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go ask Motts. And I was like, Motts, do you mind if I skip practice today and just stay at school? And he said no, but I was really...
He made you skip.
Yeah, he made me go, but I really wanted to stay and hang out with the kids all day. I was having so much fun.
You said it was maybe better even for you than for the kids. Is there something about that when you're in the grind of a season? You guys have the longest season of all of college sports, starting in early October and hoping to go all the way to April.
Right.
Just to get away and have some fun and see what life's all about and take you back to grade school? Oh
my gosh, absolutely. You know, I haven't felt like just that kind of like little kid excitement in a long time. It was really fun. Like I was getting in like the Gaga ball ring, and just the kids were ripping the ball at me, and I was just having a blast. That stuff's important, and it grounds you a little bit, and you can kind of take your mind off all the pressure and the stress that really isn't even real, that you just kind of put on yourself, and you just kind of remember to have fun.
Yeah, and I remember you on this podcast one of the previous times talking about when you were young, coming to Mariucci Arena, and you kind of idolized the Gophers at that time, who are now moved on to either some playing in pros, some probably just doing normal things in life as you would once you matriculate out of school. Did you get a sense of those kids looking up to you kind of that way a little bit, like, oh my gosh, I see these guys on TV?
Yeah. Definitely, and the teachers were kind of saying stuff like these guys idol, like stuff like that. I don't know. I try not to let like, worry about that too much.
Right.
But I definitely felt that, and that was cool. But I was honestly just having more fun hanging out with them, like I was in school.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So what you call it? Gaga ball? What is that?
It's like, that there's like every school has one of those big wooden circles.
Yeah.
And you just you got to bounce the ball once and just hit it as hard as you can and try and hit somebody's legs. And the kids they kept getting me out, and it was so funny.
That's pretty good. I like that. So you did the trip there. You had a scrimmage, you said, last week. How intense can you be with your teammates when it comes to that, to really try to simulate a game?
Yeah, I mean, we got after it, and we were rolling 2 lines each team, so we were pretty tired, but we were taking little breaks in between, and we did like a shootout every 5 minutes, just 2 guys to keep the crowd in it while we rested.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were getting after it. We weren't killing each other out there, but we were rubbing out and forechecking hard. We were playing our systems, and that was an emphasis from the coaching staff. Like, hey, we're not playing. We got to get after it here. So, and we did, and we actually all had a lot of fun with it. There was a lot of chirps going, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I suppose from that standpoint too, you're familiar with some of these guys. It's like playing with your brothers now, where you want to beat them, right?
100%. I will also say you realize things about your teammates that you never like little skills that they have. Like, obviously you see like the big things that they do. Yeah. But if you're not playing against somebody like that, you learn a little bit about them. It's pretty cool. Like I saw some things.
Give me a couple examples.
Yeah, like playing against Ollie. Just like how he so shifty all over the ice.
He's on the other team now.
Right.
You play with him.
Exactly. And I'm usually playing usually playing with him, right? So I don't have to defend him, but trying to forecheck him when he was coming out of the D zone, or if he's coming up the neutral zone full speed on me and he's so shifty, I'm just in one. I know I'm not stopping him. But I would never, you never see that because I'm usually just skating with him.
You're a line mate sometimes, right? Yeah. Who else? What else do you think you saw in that? They just kind of like, holy cow.
Yeah, how good our goalies are. Rinzi, trying to take the puck from him, especially when you're forechecking him. Like, he's so long, and you can't. Yeah. So it's just little things like that. Like, you just appreciate your teammates' games a little more when you're playing against them.
Yeah, he's Defenseman of the Year for a reason, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He is just a smooth skater, and
butter.
No doubt a key piece to this team. Now, as you guys try to get ready and gel, you mentioned game shape. I know when I with the basketball team during the winter, the coaches and players talk about over Thanksgiving break, mostly Christmas break though, because they usually have a tournament on Thanksgiving. But they come, but they get a few days off, and they can tell right away when they come back. So how is it that you guys? I mean, obviously practicing is one thing, but how quickly do you think you're going to have to figure out and get those lungs going on Thursday night? Yeah,
I don't think it'll be too bad for us because we've just been staying in good shape, and we've been getting after it. So we should be just fine. But when you take a couple days or that week off for Christmas break and you come back, it is a battle to get back in shape. Like, you lose it quick, but I don't think it'll be too big of a worry. We've been, we've been grinding,
ready to roll. Not to rustle up the Notre Dame series, but what do you guys take from that? What do the coaches say, or did you just flush it and not worry about it?
Yeah, right away we obviously had to learn some things because that's what you do. It's no more mulligans. Yeah. Like, guys, we're not messing around. Like, we need to, it's time to go. There's no shifts off, nothing. So just getting in that mindset, oh boy, we get it now. And it's good for our younger guys too, to see that, you don't have another chance. Like, you have to be on from puck drop. And so just things like that. But, after the weekend was over, we flushed it, and our focus has just been on the big tournament.
Yeah. Get the fresh start. I was at the game on Friday, the Friday game. And, again, I have some instincts, but I'm not fully into understanding the whole thing of what I'm watching. I love watching you guys, but it seemed to me that you guys were about making the right play. Like, the passes were there, but it was just a foot off here, a little behind. Like, oh man, it was, as we say in basketball, everything but the bucket. Like the play was right, the thought was correct, but it was just a tick off, and it seemed like you were kind of chasing the tail from Friday on, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I would agree. We just weren't clicking like we usually do, and I don't know if we just weren't mentally there. I don't know what that was, but we flushed it and we're ready to go now.
But territorial, you guys controlled much of the ice all weekend, right? All 3 games.
100%.
You outshot them. You did a bunch of good things.
I give them a lot of credit. Their season's on the line, and it's tough to end a team season. They were playing it so hard. They were playing very hard in front of their net. I walked away like I got jumped after that weekend.
Yeah.
And the reffing is what it is, but I feel like there was definitely some plays in front of the net that we could have scored on where they basically tackled us and there was no call.
There was a body slam at one point. I think it might have been you, right?
Yeah.
Somebody got body slammed.
Oh, yeah.
Just right out front.
I got a few of those. And that's playoff hockey.
Yeah.
So, you just got to be ready for it and not let it get to you.
Well, speaking of playoff hockey, now you're in the playoff situation here with the NCAA 4-team regional in Fargo, and it's UMass, the opening opponent. It'll be 7:30 from Fargo. First game will feature Western Michigan and Minnesota State Mankato. We're going to preview that. First, though, let me talk about our friends at Affinity Plus. It's your local credit union, proudly serving Minnesota since 1930. If you're a current Gopher student or a proud Gopher alum, that makes you eligible to join this financial that wants to build a meaningful banking relationship and put you first. You can meet with local employees at any of their branches statewide, including one here near campus right off of University in Minneapolis. You can learn more and find other ways to connect by going to their webpage. It's affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. That's affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA. People-centered banking, perfect for Gophers. And if you're driving about town and you see school or city buses or trains or light rails or billboards, you might see Mr. Connor Kurth on an Affinity Plus billboard or on the webpage. You're one of their ambassadors, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool. It's kind of surreal seeing your face drive around town.
Yeah, on the side of a bus or the side of a train or something. When those billboards first came out, did you and your family just drive around town looking for you?
No, but when they did first come out, probably once a week, somebody would send me a picture of me and I would just laugh.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
We want to thank the great folks at Affinity Plus. They love supporting student athletes, so they've got a gift card for you here today for coming on as well. All right, let's preview now this Thursday. As we mentioned, it's a 7:30 puck drop, Fargo, North Dakota, Minnesota against UMass. If you go back to, you were probably still in Dubuque, Iowa when Minnesota played UMass and won in overtime.
Yep.
And then they beat Western Michigan, get to the Frozen Four. So you could set a similar path this year. Obviously, the goal is to get to the Frozen Four. So take me through now. We've talked about the layoff and how you guys are going to try to handle that and all that stuff. But when it comes down to it, Thursday night, the puck will drop at 7:30. What are your emotions and what's a key to going into this thing ready to roll?
Yeah. Recently, the past couple weeks, months, we've been talking about just how the moment Hugh, the old volleyball coach, has
Hugh
been
McCutcheon,
he's been coming in and talking to us, and that guy is so wise. Just one of the wisest guys I've ever listened to. And he one quote that really resonated with us as a group was, "The moment don't care." And we've just been really taking that. We got shirts printed with that on there now, and that's kind of something we're really buying into, is not letting the moment get you all worked up and letting your emotions get the best of you. It's about being calm and focused, and kind of like a sniper. You just take that deep breath and then you take your shot, and that's kind of how we're looking at this. And I think that'll be really beneficial for us. We're not. It's just another hockey game. Yeah, it's a big time game, but it's the hockey game doesn't care that it's the NCAA tournament. It's just another hockey game. Yeah. So we got to kind of keep that mindset and stay calm and focused.
Yeah, cool, calm, collected. Yeah, Hugh. I always joke, Hugh, when he was the volleyball coach, we'd do the coaches tour around the state, and I'd always joke that we could just listen to him read the phone book with his New Zealand accent. I mean, he just, even if he wasn't smart, he'd sound smart. But he's a brilliant. He can run a company. Like he can
100%.
Yeah, he can do whatever. He's got a new. Well, it's not new anymore, but he's got a book out basically about how to lead, and he's had all kinds of success. So I'm interested to hear that you said that. I didn't realize that he was. I mean, I know that's part of his work. He's going around helping the coaches, but he's also now talking to teams, and so you guys are using what he's saying here.
100%, like so much. He's been coming to our leadership meeting once every couple months, and we all just soak it in when he comes. Like, so wise.
Yeah, he's got it figured out. That's for sure. I wanted to ask you too about the injury to Aaron Hughlin. It sounds like he's going to be out. So one, heartbreaking for that kid for what he's been through. Went through that major injury before he even got here. Now he's a new dad and ready to go, and then just kind of a terrible collision right in front of the ice. So how do you guys internally handle that part of it, just from being a teammate and a brother? And then, okay, as you say, the moment don't care, the game's going to go on. It's got to go on without him. And so how do you fill his shoes or his skates?
That's super sad. Like senior year, last tournament, and that happens. We're all gutted for him. I hate thinking about it. It's so sad. And Hughie's just the greatest guy ever. And I just feel so bad for him. And, with his new baby, it's got to be so tough. But he's got a great wife, and I'm sure she's holding up just fine and taking care of the both of them. And he's strong, so he'll get through it. But I just feel for him. And from the team standpoint, it's the next man up mentality, which you have to have. And I mean, that's just like a part of hockey. Injuries happen, and you got to be ready to go no matter where you're playing. And we've been kind of doing that all year. We've had a lot of injuries throughout the season, so I think we'll handle it well. And obviously, Hughie's a big loss. He's so good, and he's good all over the ice in big moments. So we're gonna have guys step up that might not have been in that moment, but I think we're ready for it.
Ready for those guys. And you're right. He's had some heroic. Speaking of the UMass game, the last time, I mean, he was the guy that dug out the puck behind the net and got it to Myers, and Myers scores in overtime to win that game and go on to the Western Michigan game a few years ago. So he's had some big moments over the course of his career for sure. And I'm generally an optimist in terms of how I look at things, and even in times of that kind of cloud or that kind of darkness, then what comes from it. And my view on it would be that if that had happened in November over the course of 30 games, that stinks, and you guys might not be that good or as good. Over the course of, you need 4 wins, right? You're at a point, 4 wins wins you everything you ever wanted. So it's not like it's a 30-game stretch. Like sometimes now you got a purpose. Like you're playing for more things than just yourself here. You want to win this for this kid, and that can galvanize a team. Sometimes you only need 4 wins. I say 100%. Only. It's not going to be easy, obviously, but there could be, like, again, if you looked at it from a, it sucks. It's terrible, but there's a bigger purpose here now.
100%. Yeah, you make a great point there. Yeah, without Hughie, 30 games, we might lose a couple more. You don't know.
Right, you're probably not as good of a team.
100%.
But in the short term,
he's great. 4 wins exactly. And hopefully we can rally around that and just come ready to play for those four games.
Now we're talking Monday. The selection was just announced yesterday, Sunday. But it was because of how pairwise works. You had a pretty good idea UMass was going to be the opposition. Knew you were going to go to Fargo almost certainly. So were you able to do any pre-study on the Minutemen at all? And if so, what can you tell us about them?
No, not really. We usually only take a couple days to prepare for a team. So, if we win, we only have, Friday, Saturday to do the same for whoever, Western or Mankato. So it's just kind of how you do it. And, there's no reason to, in case something weird happened and we weren't playing them. So I think we just are ready for them. And, we'll spend the next couple days getting ready for them and seeing what they're doing. And I had some buddies that play in the Hockey East text me and give me some pointers, which was nice. So
in the next few days, as we talk Monday, you'll get a little bit more of personnel and what their strategies are. And then how much, just even generally in the course of a game, and you've been in the postseason NCAA now, is it about what they do and what is it about what you do? How much how do you divide that time focusing on the scouting report and then, hey, we are who we are, we can't let them dictate what we do?
That's what it's all about. We're such a talented group. Like, we don't really need to change our game for anybody, and it's just about us and how well we do what we do.
Yeah. Goaltending, what do you think of the situation heading in now? Because, Souliere had taken the spot and very good. Airy had been good too. I mean, they're really both great.
Yeah.
And then maybe a little hiccup here late in the year, which isn't perfect, but you feel good about your guys?
100%. I know who's ever going. They got us. Yeah. We're not worried about it one bit.
And you mentioned that you found in these scrimmages as last Friday that it's hard to score on them.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yes, it is. They're both great.
Take me through how Souliere, what he's meant to the team here, because it's a unique situation with the transfer portal, the way it's kind of emerged. All of a sudden, a veteran goalie who's been like through a million games and a million situations shows up at your doorstep and becomes a big factor.
Yeah, I mean, Souls has been unbelievable for us. When you come in as a fifth-year transfer, some guys just probably are looking at it like just a stepping stone to their pro career, and he's done the exact opposite. He absolutely just took it all in and embrace what it means to be one of the boys and to be a Gopher. And I think no matter what happened at his time at Penn State, I think he'll forever be a Gopher when somebody asks him. He loves it and we love him, and he's so good for us. He's, he has all that experience, and he's not afraid to share it with us, and just such a good leader and a role model for everybody on our team. And having a guy that's, I think he's 25, 26, I'm not sure, but just he's so knowledgeable, for life skills as well, and just advice. And he's been unbelievable for us.
And Airy on the flip side is a younger guy, but and he's been here from the get-go. So how has he mixed in? And I kind of liken that a little bit to like some people say quarterback, you got a starter and a backup, and I don't know if that's right. I maybe more like pitching, where you've got a number one and a number two, and they're both going to play. And one night one guy might be on, and hopefully both nights they're on, and then it eventually melded into where you're at now. You decision to make and see who's out there Thursday.
I'll say about Ayers and Sewells is they're like, those two are like inseparable, which you don't get all the time.
I was wondering about that. Is that common or uncommon?
No, I mean a lot of teams I've been on, the goalies have been good, but sometimes they're not. Like, sometimes they don't really like each other because they're taking each other's ice time, and that's the only ice time. They can't play elsewhere. So but those two are unbelievable. Like they love each other and they help each other so much. They're always picking each other's brain, and on the road they want to be road roommates, which is super weird. Like goalies don't like to do that, and but they just always want to be together and learn from each other, and it makes the chemistry in the room a lot easier, because if there's that animosity between the two guys you need probably the most to be on it, there's a little extra tension, and we have none of that. And
because that could, if there was tension, that could be a little bit uneasy, right?
100%. It is just a little distraction that's unneeded, and we have none of that, which is everything you need.
So you feel great about that part of it, and now it's just a matter of you guys going and scoring goals.
Right? 100%.
Let me talk one more minute here about another sponsor. I want to talk to you for a minute about onX Maps and their specific onX Hunt feature. Have you ever driven past a piece of land and wondered who owns it? Or maybe you need to know exactly where a property line runs? Well, that's where onX Hunt comes in. And it's not just for hunters. There are folks using onX for their jobs every day throughout the country, from farmers and ranchers mapping out their fields, wildland firefighters navigating through rough terrain, to construction workers needing to know where property lines begin and end. This app offers something for everyone. If you need the best land ownership maps, aerial imagery, and property boundaries in your pocket, onX Hunt is the tool for the job. Try it for free. We've got a 7-day trial. Download onX Hunt in the Apple or Google Play Store, or go online visiting onxmaps.com/hunt to get started. All right, yesterday I'm watching the selection show, and they're going through everybody, and they bring up you guys. I think I know what the answer is going to be. They brought it up, so I'm going to bring it up to you. They said with the Gophers, they have so many NHL guys that some of these guys, the second their season's over, within a day or two, they're going to be in an NHL. Did you watch it, by the way, or maybe not?
Yeah, we watched it as a group.
Where they said that, there's going to be so many guys on that team. within a day or two, they're going to be in the NHL, and that could be a distraction. And is their mind going to totally be on the game? I thought it's strange. I'm like, I think they're going to want to probably not worry about it. They know that's out there, right? Like, I remember the last couple of years of Faber and some of these guys. I promise you, they knew that was out there, but that nobody wanted to win more than those dudes. So I'm thinking that's probably a made-up deal. In terms of trying to come up with something to talk about?
It's just a narrative that they want to create. No, that is not true. Like, our guys, we all know that, there's going to be guys that have the opportunity to move on, but literally the only thing you want to do, but like for the guys that are signing, the only thing you want to do is win it before you get out of here. Like, that's the easiest way to go. So even if that was on their mind, and at the bare minimum, like, winning it is the best way to go out. So even if they were,
it's almost more motivation, right?
100%. And if it was like a selfish thing, at the selfishness of it, you still want to win. So it's not that at all. Like, we want to do it for our fans. We want to do it for each other, for Mott's, for all the people around us. And like, Gopher Hockey deserves a national championship, and that's, we have an opportunity to do that. And I guarantee you, not one guy on our team is worried about what they're doing after our season. We're worried about winning this thing. With that in mind, with that as the goal, remove the NHL stuff, which they talked about yesterday, but you want to win it for fans. You want to win it for yourselves, your family, the Gopher fans, the head coach, the assistant coaches. Does that add pressure? Do you feel pressure? How do you go into this, knowing that, like we said, you're 4 wins away, but you're one bad break from it being done too? The moment doesn't care. That's kind of what we've been preaching. There's pressures, but the hockey game doesn't care. Yeah, it's just about playing hockey. So trying to get that out of your mind and just staying calm and worried about your next shift. Yeah, and it's not going to be easy for anybody. This is one thing on the selection show I agree with. You look at those brackets, like there's no easy path. Like everybody, I think there have been years past where you could look and say, okay, that team caught a little bit of a bracketing break, because sometimes they have to flip or whatever. Like you want to be playing Penn State in Allentown? I don't know if you want to do that, right? No. If somebody is. Well, and they got Maine, Maine's great too. I mean, Denver, their defending champ, is a 3 seed in its region. Right. I forget even they're playing Providence, I think. And then if they win, they got probably BC. Yeah. So it's not number 1. Yeah. So I think this, and it's always tough, right? 16-team field, you never know in hockey, right? A bounce here, a bounce there, but. Man, and the time I've been following this bracket, like whoever wins this thing's going to earn it. It's all earned, yeah. Right? Yep, 100%. I mean, sometimes you see like a 16 seed, I think, was it Yale maybe, one year won it. Providence won it as one of the last teams in 1 year. It happens. It maybe could be the year, because top to bottom, it's a pretty, there's some teams there. Yeah. I mean, the amount of good college hockey teams there are it's awesome. It means the game's growing, and it's what you want as a college hockey fan and a player. Good competition. Thursday night, 7:30, the puck drops Fargo. Good chance to have a little home ice edge. 2 years ago, you had success in that Canisius game. It was your best game as a freshman. And then last year in Sioux Falls, win one, lose one. A big crowd, assuming that helps to have a bunch of maroon and gold clad fans. Yep, of course. We're fortunate that at least for me, I've played in Fargo, and Sioux Falls, so the rink's always full of maroon and gold, and I have faith that no matter where we are, we'd have a good group. Like we travel well, and we just have an awesome fan base, so it definitely helps, and just a little extra energy. I like to call it free energy from the fans. Get that pep band playing the rouser after a goal and all that stuff. It's big. What do you remember about the trip 2 years ago to Fargo? We mentioned you had the big game against Canisius with a goal and an assist and a key goal, because that was one of those games. Yeah. It ended up, I forget what the 8-3 or whatever, but it was nip and tuck for 2 periods, right? It was. Yeah, we were. I think I scored the third one, and then we just started rolling from there. But yeah, that was a nail biter for a while, and then it was nice that we just kind of started going. And I actually didn't play against St. Cloud. I had hurt my ankle in that Canisius game, and that was the most, I think, stressed out I've ever been in my whole life. Like, watching hockey compared to being on the ice is so much more stressful.
Yeah, because you control your own deal when you're on the ice, right?
Yes,
yeah.
And I've never been more stressed in my life. I probably lost a couple years on my life in that game that day, but they got it done, so that was awesome.
Well, see, now you know how, like, your loved ones, when they watch you play, right? Your mom, dad, whoever.
I get the stress.
Yeah. But you're out there, you're just playing.
Yeah, you're just playing hockey.
So you have, all you can do is do what you can do.
Yeah.
But when you're watching, it's out of your control.
You can't do anything besides hope.
The heart rate picks up.
Yep.
There's no doubt about that. You've also played in Fargo in the USHL. Remind me, I'm just kind of hitting you this cold here. So you were at Gentry your freshman and sophomore year?
Freshman, sophomore, junior.
And junior. Yep. So then you played your what would have been your senior year in Dubuque, and then one additional year in Dubuque. So I don't think we've talked about this at all ever, that you spent 2 years in Dubuque. What did you think of Dubuque?
Loved it.
Did you?
There's not too many junior cities better.
Yeah.
The organization itself is unbelievable. They've never missed the playoffs since they've been back in the league. They do a great job, great coaches. They develop. They make sure you're in school, doing your work. But then now I'll just talk about the city. Like, they love the Fighting Saints there. Like, we had a sponsor for the team, and we'd just go hang out there every day. And, you go to a restaurant, you sit down, and some fan will come up to you. And it's like, when you're 17 years old and somebody's recognized you around town, and that wasn't like a one-off, it happened all the time. It was really cool. Like, you kind of felt like a local celebrity there. Not that like playing in the USHL is anything special, but they made you feel special, and they made you want to win for Dubuque. So I loved my time there.
So my hometown, where I grew up, is about 50 miles from Dubuque.
Really?
I grew up in Iowa.
Okay.
Highway 20 that goes through Dubuque.
Yeah. I lived right off it.
Yeah, if you go straight west for about 50 miles, just about another 20 miles past the Field of Dreams.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we went there.
Did you go to the Field of Dreams? Have you seen that movie or no?
Yeah.
It's a great place to go.
Yeah, really cool. We played a game out there.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Not a hockey game.
No, a baseball game.
Yeah, I was going to say they froze the ice.
Yeah.
That'd be great out on the cornfields. So I'm like, my hometown's another 20 miles past that. I spent all kinds of time in Dubuque, and it's actually like when I was young, which is a long time ago now. They've really upgraded. I mean, they've rebuilt part of that warehouse district. It used to be kind of junky.
Yeah, it's nice.
Beautiful. They've got hotels and bars and restaurants and stuff. So I was curious. I didn't want to bias your thought. I wanted to ask what you thought first. So I'm glad that you liked it.
I loved it.
I thought Dubuque is a nice spot too, and you had pretty good success there. So remind me, your senior year, what would have been here, there, you're going to a local high school then? There?
No, I just did
homeschool?
PSEO. So I actually got a lot of my credits out of the way here when I was there. So I'll be graduating with my degree from here this year because of the
extra classes or whatever.
Yeah.
So I remember even growing up, a girl that I went to high school with ended up going to Dubuque shopping, and she met a hockey player. They were in high school. And when I was young, I remember, and I'm in high school at the time, so this is a long time ago, I remember thinking, pro hockey, I thought that was a pro. I didn't know. Yeah. I thought it was a pro hockey. I'm like, she's dating a pro hockey player. And he was going to a high school though. But back then, that's pre-internet. We didn't have the computer.
Yeah,
there.
we had guys go to high school there too. Yeah. It was COVID though, so it was a little different,
even a little trickier.
Yeah.
But you had success. 35 goals your last year there, right? So you had one of the top players in the league.
Yeah. I played with Stephen Halliday, who played on Ohio State the last couple of years. He was, amazing line mate. He's so good. So I credit that a lot to him, but also I forgot to mention how great my billets were. I had the greatest billet family.
Yeah, so for those that aren't familiar with that, that's the host family, right? Did you stay where, in their basement or bedroom or whatever?
Yeah. So I had my billet brother on my team was from Chaska, and one of my best buddies forever because of the time we had there. But yeah, we had the basement, and they had a ping pong table and a TV down there and couches for us, and we each had our own rooms, and just the nicest people ever too. Like, they cared about us. I love my billet mom, and she loved us like her own kids. She had kids, but they have grandkids now, so we were the empty nesters. So we were her kids basically, and she was just unbelievable people.
Yeah, do you still stay in touch on
all the time? Yeah, they come up to a couple games a year still, and they come stay at my house in the summer for like a week, and they'll hang out on the lake. So I can't say enough good things about Dubuque, and especially my billets.
Yeah, it is unique because hockey players get kind of that. It's unlike any other sport. Like, it isn't like if you're a baseball player or football player, you may go to a prep school, but it's not like what you guys get to do in juniors if you're lucky enough to do that.
Yeah, it is. I would recommend it 1,000 times. Like, maybe you don't get as lucky as I did with the amazing people, but instead of just living, when I'm 17, if I were to live on my own, like, my house would have been, like, my place would have been destroyed. Nothing would have gotten done. Having the extra year and a little extra guidance for a really stressful, time in your life and a huge change. It was huge. And, thank you to all the billets out there. You make a lot of hockey players' dreams come true.
And then you just, not that you want to get away from home, but you probably grew up a little bit, right? Just on your own. So you mature maybe at a more productive rate than if you're, and your, not that you'd want to not live with your mom and dad, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might be a more productive situation to grow up and get out on your own a year early.
Yeah. When I came there, that was kind of their thing. They said, you'll show up a boy and leave a man. Yeah. And I would 100% agree. Once I left there and came in here, like, if I would have came in as a freshman right out of high school, not having it all like experience on my own and having to learn things, I don't think I would have been nearly as ready as just like a life standpoint and how to handle yourself when there's a lot of distractions on a college campus. And if it were to be my first time being on my own, I don't think it would have went as smoothly as it did without that experience I had in Dubuque. Yeah.
Well, it's Thursday night. We're ready to roll with hockey. It's going to be fun. And what the depth has got to be one of the strengths and the keys, don't you think? Like, and again, we've talked about this a lot. There's a top line, a second line, a third line. The third line here would be a top line at other places. And you guys mix and match and all that stuff. But this has got to be a team effort, it seems to me.
Team effort, 100%. We have our guys top to bottom, and we'll be ready to go.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to it. We'll see you up in Fargo on Thursday.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
Always fun to talk with Connor Kurth. It's episode 164. My thanks again to Golden Gopher forward Connor Kurth, a star junior for this Minnesota team, set to take on UMass on Thursday night in Fargo in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. I hope you enjoyed hearing from Connor as much as I did. Episode 164 is presented by Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're buying or selling a business, visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com. We thank Brian Slipka for his support of this podcast and his support of Gopher Athletics. We're also partnered with Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union, a locally member-owned full-service financial invested in you. You can learn more at affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. That's affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. Affinity Plus, great products, support, and people. That is a banking hat trick. OnX Hunt also sponsors our show. Happy hunting. Again, I'd invite you to listen to past podcasts, and please be sure to subscribe to the Go Gopher Podcast right now. It's free to subscribe and free to listen at any time. And please share the link to the podcast with others so they can subscribe and listen as well. And if you enjoyed the podcast this week, please let us know with some positive feedback on your social media channels. We'll talk again next week.